excellent.
Hypothetically.
We will be.
This is all staying in.
This is the part you're going to have to edit.
I'm never going to edit it. It belongs in there.
For our Patreon subscribers.
For our OnlyFans members, they deserve... This is the behind-the-scenes content they deserve.
Hold on. What if we actually just put this on OnlyFans? Would that be
Only on OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Nowhere else? I love it, honestly.
I mean,
what can I say? I love it.
I mean, like for like $1.
I feel like I'm fucking straddling this microphone. I want to leave all of this in, by the way. I don't want to take a single second of this out. It's all staying in. This is going to have real 50th podcast vibes, despite it being the first real one. And I'm fucking with the mic heavy. That's going to sound great.
Yeah, it's okay.
Do the thing.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Crack a Cold One podcast, where a couple guys are going to enjoy some recently opened chilled beverages and pretend like we know what we're talking about. I'm guy number 1, Christian.
Which guy am I again?
Whatever guy you want to be.
I'm guy number 2, Grayson.
And here is...
Destroying your eardrums, according to the OBS recording.
Or if you were smart, you cracked a cold one with us at the same time. Welcome to our first live feed, by the way. It's so nice to see you all. Putting a face to all of our voices. We do. We have some towels here as well. Don't worry, it'll get better as we go along. Go Texans.
Never been prouder.
And the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, sure.
But real quick, shout out to the Big Ten and the Indiana Hoosiers winning the Natty.
Big grats. Well deserved. This was the story we all wanted, honestly. I mean, go Miami. I am actually a pretty big Miami fan. But, I mean, it was Indiana's year. It was a beautiful run. You can't really say anything else about it. It was meant to be. It was foretold.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Mendoza, Fernando, he definitely showed that he is number 1 pick. He is a guy. He's not all just hubris. He's going to go to war for you. And I think if it's the Raiders or the Jets, hopefully not, or any other team kind of picks him up, I think it's going to be great.
I'd be amazed if he drops below first overall. I mean, legitimately the only person I could see going above him, just because it's also a sexy pick, I don't think it's the correct choice, would be like Jeremiah Love. And I don't think he's like a number 1 overall player. He's phenomenal, don't get me wrong. But like the Raiders don't need to pick up a wide receiver right now. The Jets don't need that like number 2 overall. You know, like if anybody picks up Jeremiah Love before Mendoza, I can never remember his first name.
Just think of the song, Fernando.
Francisco, Francis.
He has a very bad habit of this.
Falcons, go Falcons, Atlanta stand up. Yeah, he's going to be the first overall, as he should be. He's beautiful. I want to thank God. But yeah, let's go Natty, and then we got some games to talk about. You can tell that we prepared a lot.
Oh yeah, we have, and it's going to go really smooth. I think we're just going to have a good time with this. Championship weekend, everybody, for the AFC and the NFC. One game. Fantastic, lights out, bombastic, if you will. The other game, very classic NFL, if you will. Snow, very low scoring, and a lot of defense.
Yeah, it was like half a snow game. Not even. I think it was like a quarter of a snow game. But, God, was it a snow game. No points really happening, and teams just kind of tripping over themselves. Stiddy looked not bad for a lot of that game. I'll give him credit. I mean, the more the week went on, the more I was starting to have faith in him. And he had some flashes of greatness. That huge pass down the field, the pass for the touchdown out of the boot, both great plays, great passes. But he also did some classic chest passing with both hands. He had a backwards fumble throwaway that kind of lost them the game, low-key. He didn't, he just looked like a guy that hadn't seen a football field in a while, which he is. So
yep,
it's not surprising.
That is very true. He hadn't started in almost 2 years, something like that, 700 something days.
And he only had like 4 starts or something. So
yes.
I mean, unsurprising. He had a tough time.
He had a very tough time. I mean, I had the stats pulled up for a moment here. 17 for 31, 133 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, which, regular season game or any other game, that's not too bad, especially for a backup. It just showed that they really do rely on Bo Nix and that he is their guy and that he's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, part of me was thinking we might come into this game and see Stiddy take over as the starter, and I I don't think that was fully disproven. I think if Bo has a really bad game, you could maybe throw Stiddy in that bitch and be like, we got a guy. And I don't think you're going to see like a massive fall off, but especially on such a big stage, he showed that he's not, not emotionally, but like he's not mentally all the way there. He made some really silly mistakes that you don't make if you're a little more accustomed to being out on the field. And even on the other side of the ball, I don't know that Drake played great, but he did have some incredible runs to keep the game alive.
And he was efficient.
Yes.
He did not throw away the game for anybody. He didn't have a touchdown, but he also did not have a turnover. 10 for 21, 86 yards, which on paper looks awful. Yep. Looks really fucking bad.
But, the second half of the game was pretty much all just a slog. He had, I think, 4 or so major rushes, one of which was right before the half. Didn't really end up mattering, but it did kind of put the game on his back. And then he had another one in the second half that was pretty crucial. He really kept it alive with his legs and showed that he can, step up in big moments. I think it was a low-key breakout game for his run game because he hasn't done a ton of rushing. He's ran some touchdowns in and stuff.
Also hasn't really been needed either.
No.
I mean, they've had some great running back tandem and – the snow game, it's definitely more challenging. So the fact that he does have legs he can rely on will definitely open up the game for next year in some of these situations.
Yeah, it's good to know that he has them. I wouldn't be surprised if this has been in the pocket the whole time, but they wanted to save it for clutch moments. And it's the playoffs. Now's the time that you whip out everything. He's had some wheels the whole time, but he was really moving. And he really, I don't know that they win that game without Drake May doing those rushes specifically. I think that the offense was struggling kind of in every regard, especially once it was snowing, but really not doing much before that either. And the defense was doing good, but they weren't, phenomenal.
They definitely showed that they are part of the weaker units somewhere in that offense, in that defense. You have your standout guys, you have Spillane, you have Gonzo, and whatnot, but you definitely just have a couple just dudes out there. But speaking about the Drake May, how important was he rushing? Let me tell you. He had 10 rushes for 65 yards, and he had the one touchdown for the Patriots.
And it was a really sexy snow game touchdown, too. Really gave you that January football feeling.
That's why we love football in January. And, Stevenson, 25 carries for 71 yards. Kind of a slog, but definitely pulled through for them. Henderson, 3 carries for 5 yards.
He got 3 carries that game?
Yes,
That's
for 5 yards.
Criminal. Real quick, I'm going to take this. Give me 1 second.
One second.
I'm looking at you. Quit disrespecting Henderson. Let him touch the ball sometimes. I don't know why you hate him.
I will say he is a fellow Buckeye, so maybe you should show him a little bit of love and everything. But it's your game plan. It's yours and McDaniel's game plan. You know what you're doing. Obviously, you got to the Super Bowl. But, show him a little bit of love. That's what I say. Show him a little bit of love.
I get that Ramondre Stevenson has stepped up. I'm not saying Henderson to be the starter. I think he could be, but he's not great down to down. He's great at the explosives. I would love to see more like a 60-40 split with him and Stevenson. And I think they were kind of around that point for a bit, but especially this game, 3-25. Like Henderson basically was not in this game.
I think for the Super Bowl, just, kind of do some pre-talk before we talk about it. They will need to start doing that just because of how good that defense is and how well planned out and put together that defensive plan is going to be.
100%. I think you got to change things up because Ramondre Stevenson is much better honestly, he's the inside back, and I think Henderson is their outside back. And that's kind of just what I want to see more of is them opening up the outside game with Henderson. Stevenson, I'm having a hard time with the Suns. Stevenson is good in all facets, but I don't think that he is nearly as explosive as Henderson. He also, Travion has kind of downplayed ball carrier vision, to quote a Madden stat. He's so good at the run was up the middle and nothing is here at all. He just does a little spin, bounces outside, and breaks for 60 yards. He did that 4 times. That's where I really think he excels, is seeing the route that isn't always there and just bursting through for a crazy play.
And that can't just always be taught. I mean, some of it can be for sure, but some of that is just natural gift there. But let me tell you who was really exciting to have back was Mac Hollins.
Yes.
He was the honestly he was the game changer. He was the difference because he had 2 receptions for 51 yards, and that was the most any Patriot receiver had all game.
Yeah, Diggs was not a huge factor here. Hunter Henry had some pretty gnarly drops.
2 receptions for 12. He had 3 targets.
Yeah, so I guess just 1 drop on the stat sheet. I remember it was a very ugly drop. I think there might have been one other one that maybe just wasn't considered catchable, but Hunter Henry just didn't look incredible. Diggs didn't really have an opportunity. He was probably getting covered more than anybody else, to be
Well,
fair.
and snow isn't his game. I mean, he needs to have a clear field. He needs to be able to stretch the field, and he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, Booty wasn't a huge factor. None of the wide receivers were doing a ton outside of Mac Hollins coming back and making a big impact. On the other side of the ball, Cortland Sutton didn't really do a ton. I think he had a little bit of a better game because he has felt a little...
3 receptions, 17 yards, and he also caught the only touchdown for the Broncos that day.
Yes. So...
Which was a great touchdown, by the way.
It was a very important
touchdown. It was fantastic.
Well. So, I don't want to fully sell him out, but for the wide receiver one, he has not really been performing there for me. It doesn't really matter at this point because they're going into the next season and we'll see what happens. But he was kind of underperforming. I think Pat Surtain looked phenomenal as always. The defense was fantastic and they really pressured May constantly. I don't believe he had any fumbles this game, so he did lock that one down. So all in all, slog in the mud. In the snow, but Patriots pull it out. It was a well-earned win. Broncos, that's what happens when your quarterback dies.
Yep.
It sucks, but that just is what it is.
I mean, great seasons of the Broncos. I mean, no one really thought you were going to get here. And honestly, I didn't think you were going to get this far. But, that just shows you how good of a coach Sean Payton is, how well of a staff he put together. And they have a great chance going forward. Would you like to hear a fun rushing fact for the Broncos?
No. Tell me it anyway, though.
I would love to. They had 6 different rushers on Championship Sunday.
R.J. Harvey.
Yep.
Cortland Sutton, I think, ran once.
Nope.
Pat Bryant.
Yep.
Who the hell else ran? I mean, probably Stiddy. Stiddy definitely had some scrambles.
McLaughlin.
Okay.
Batty.
I don't even know who some of these people are.
And Prentice.
Yeah, I don't know the last 2 at all, and I don't even remember those runs. But, I mean, let anybody touch it. Harvey is a good running back, but he's not a super strong Harvey was.
He is your secondary. He is your guy who you need.
He's your, Monungai vibe,
Yeah.
Monungai's some great guy. I think Monungai is better, don't get me wrong. But, he's a really good second back. I don't think that he necessarily can stand on his own. Part of the reason that Bears offense was so good is that they have the 2 opposite backs, and I think that's kind of what the Broncos were running until Dobbins got hurt, and then they were kind of boned because Dobbins was carrying a lot of the load. They had a game there where I think Harvey and Dobbins had 100 yards, but for the most part, Harvey was not the lead back,
No, and it really, I think, also hurt that offense as they were going farther into the regular season. They weren't the same as they were, which honestly probably also didn't help the defense whatsoever, which is why they had more of a less of a showing, I should say, as they got towards the end of that regular season. But congratulations to the Patriots. You are lucky. You're really lucky.
The stars have aligned in a way that Patriots fans, I'm looking at you, I know who you are going to say, it's not cupcake and all that. I'm not saying that the Patriots did not beat all of these teams. They did not make it here, and that they don't play great. But
also, real quick, they have faced all the top AFC defenses to get here.
Yes, they have. So I think despite not looking phenomenal in the playoffs, they're winning these games, and that's the thing that matters. But the planets did kind of align for a Patriots Super Bowl run. They had one of the easiest schedules we've ever seen. In the playoffs, they played against 2 of the worst O-lines in the game, and then a quarterback that got hurt in the last play, so they just played the backup. That is a miracle run. Again, not trying to take away from the team. They've played great. Nothing I just said diminishes any of that. They have earned every one of those wins, and it'd be really easy to lose a bunch of games in there, and they didn't. So still full props to them, but it does feel like somebody's, arranging for a Patriots Super Bowl, and they got it.
I think the planet Pluto, former planet Pluto, got involved. But also, they also went 9-0 on the road. Never been done before.
Yep.
And that is something that I don't think will be replicated for a long time, or it will become the norm. The pendulum is going to swing either way.
Yeah, but incredible season by the Patriots. I think at any point in these playoffs, if they had lost, it was a extremely successful season, but they didn't. And here we are. They're going to make a run up against the other side of the ball.
Yes, the other Mike, if you will. Mike and Mike. Hey, Mike and Ike, you should do a promotion. The Rams and the Seahawks. 31-27 going to the Seahawks. Sam Darnold being the first quarterback of the 2018 quarterback class to start in a Super Bowl, because technically he went to the Super Bowl before when he was in San Francisco.
Doesn't count. Yeah, it doesn't count as much, technically.
Well, he also didn't win it either. So
yeah, but I'm gonna go burn my Lamar Jackson jersey. All you Bills fans, burn your Josh Allen jerseys. Honestly, props. To
and Browns and Buccaneers fan, just do what you've been doing with Baker stuff. Don't change it.
Yeah, don't pee on it.
Well, that's what they've been doing for some of it. So I said don't change it.
But it was a really good game. There were some calls in there I didn't love. There were some plays I didn't love. But I think both teams honestly played really well. That was not one that, the Broncos-Bills is kind of got some toxic film all over it. But when you look at that Seahawks-Rams game, both teams were just firing on all cylinders. There was a lot of really good offensive plays. There was some good defense. At times, it looked like Darnold was going full pumpkin, and he bounced right back. So props to him for not doing what I kept worrying he was going to do. Stafford played a great game. I think, honestly, both teams can go home feeling all right about themselves. And it was a great game to watch.
I will want to say real quick, if he does win the Super Bowl, we got to stop saying pumpkin. We got to change it to Favre in it or something else, because Brett Favre threw a ton of picks, and he definitely has a turnovers. But if he wins the Super Bowl,
if he wins the Super Bowl, I'll put some more respect on his name, and I'm getting there. Every game he wins, I get there a little bit more because he's still just leading in turnovers, and that's my biggest gripe with him. But I think I'm going to start attesting it more to gunslinging than I am being bad. The fumbles I don't like, but the picks, they're aging more. They're aging a little better every time.
To be fair with some of those fumbles, if you don't have your line protecting you, you're not going to always be able to recover that football into your arm really quickly. When we have a prop, everybody.
It's not a prop. It's a real football.
When you're like this,
football players.
You're getting ready to throw it, everything like that. It's so hard to get.
You got this, big dog.
Knocked in the hand, Van. It's really hard to go from here to cover sometimes. I can't always fault him for those, but he should still be mindful of everything.
And anytime you're leading in turnovers, it's just that's something to point to as there is a problem here to exploit. And I was saying before the game, I think Patriots fans would be rooting for the Seahawks because that's someone you know what to do with. We've seen Darnold crumble. Matt Stafford is a vet. He doesn't really make a ton of mistakes for the most part. He has down the stretch, but he really has played pretty clean the majority of the game.
Yeah, and I will say, if they would have won this game, the Rams, it would not have been surprising just the way they were playing, especially Matt Stafford, who went 22 for 35, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, and was only sacked once, by the way. You can't ask for more.
No, you really can't.
A lot of that was defense, had a couple hiccups and everything. By the way, Seahawks defense, certain player, he knows who he is. You got bailed out, buddy.
That was I forget his name.
I'll tell you what, once I see
but
it,
I would like to hear
remember
it because I want to curse him. I want to speak to you directly.
Woolen.
One of the dumbest moves I've ever seen.
So stupid, dude. To
give up a great pass breakup. It could have been an interception. You dropped it. That happens. But to give that up to taunt, and then next play, you give up a touchdown to that same man. That, you won't live that down. I'm sorry. The fact you won the game saves you a little.
You're a class act athlete. You are definitely better than us, but man, you got to use your brain. You've got to engage. I know you're 26. Frontal lobe just got done being developed. It's cool, man. We get it, but man,
just go gyrate on your own sideline.
You could have costed your team the game, brother. But I hope you learned your lesson. I think I saw your thing where you apologized.
Yeah, you sent the little squirrel.
Sorry, we still friends? You know what? I was never your friend, to be honest with you, my guy. But
said you were.
But the fact that you did own up to it, I'll give you credit. But back to the losing team, the Rams. You can't ask for more from Matt Stafford. And looking at the receivers, Puka Nacua, nine catches, 165 yards, a tutty. Devontae Adams, vet, 4 receptions, 89 yards, and a tutty. You got your two. You got your 1A, 1B, or 1 and 2 guys killing it out there. You can't ask for more.
Yeah, and there was some great catches by Colby Parkinson's. Puka had some insane catches as always. Devontae honestly looked the best that I feel like he's looked in a little bit. He's kind of been more of a just like get an insane catch and then lay down a chunk of the season. But he was really getting some yards. He was exploding out. Like he looked like a little bit of a younger man out there. So again, I really don't want to take anything from the Rams. I think he played a great season. It would have been cool to have the miracle run with Stafford, but wasn't in the cards. This is a really good team. I think it could have gone either way up until the very end. I mean, if Puka had gone out of bounds on that last pass, I would not have been blown away by a Stafford Hail Mary like touchdown.
What I will say is, if the Rams would have made it to the Super Bowl, I would have taken my bank account and placed it on the Rams.
100%. I fully was starting to see the lines of the Stafford miracle like retirement season. We were coming real close to it, and didn't quite happen. But this is still a season you can rest your hat on. I think he's the front runner for MVP, which we'll get into awards in a little bit. Are we doing that this week or next week?
We can do some of it this week. I mean,
we can discuss.
Yeah.
But yeah, incredible season by Stafford. We'll see if he decides to come back. I don't think he's announced like one way or the other, so it's just speculation. But he's getting older, and his friends are retiring, close friends, and I just don't know that he has like much left to prove. It would have been great to have a Super Bowl to close it out, but you've had a great season. You've had an incredible career. You turned things around with the Rams. You're finally over 500 for your career. Like, I think this is a nice season to end it out on.
Absolutely. And you know what, man? I hope you do come back because they don't have a backup plan right now.
Yeah, I don't know who they're drafting. There's like 3 quarterbacks. There's 2, I think, quarterbacks of note in this whole draft. So
if you do retire, you'll be in our – because I'm going to say right now, we're going to do a retirement parade. We're going to talk about important people that retired this year if we get a lot of important people like Aaron
Congratulations, Aaron Rodgers, on your retirement.
We'll talk about that too because Mike McCarthy in his presser was talking about that. But anyway, going to the winners though, Sam Darnold, he did amazing. He had to without Charbonnet being there to help Walker, he really had to be the guy. Yeah. He could not be the guy. But folks, you can't ask for a better stat line. 25 for 36. 346 yards, 3 tuds. He was sacked 3 times. That did kind of suck. That one sack where they just did not block.
Yeah.
Took him back another 10, 12 yards. That was a bad
That's not
sack.
One that like is even on him. There was just a fully unblocked man, and he even looked at the line afterwards and was like, what the hell was that? I mean, that's not one that even should go on his stat sheet low-key, but yeah, he played a great game. He really stood up in some big moments.
Great throws. Great throws.
God, that guy's so good at football.
And your stat line wouldn't see it. I mean, 19 carries, 62 yards, 3.3 average, 1 tud. But, man, he was a demon on wheels.
He was fighting for every yard. He was juking and jiving and
pushing men over.
God, he looked filthy out there. And he was receiving for a decent number of yards, too. Like, he looked
4
so
for
good.
49. He was good all-purpose. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, 10 catches, 153 yards for 1 tud in 12 targets. So he missed 2, but you can't say anything better. I'm excited to see him and Henderson for the Pats because they are Ohio State guys, obviously.
And they're killing it, honestly. JSN, I believe, is the front runner for Opoy. It's either him or Nakua, which is fun because they both had crazy stat lines in this game, like they have all year.
And these guys are going to help run the NFC West for a long time.
100%.
NFC West is the most dangerous division in football, everybody.
Yeah, definitively. I mean, the Cardinals don't look like they're going to change anything anytime soon, but the rest of the divisions... Who
cares?
Yeah, I mean, we got 3 teams in there that don't seem to be going anywhere. I think the Niners may have to rebuild soon.
Yeah, even if they do drop, that's still a great coach. Yeah. You can't ask for anything more, and that's still, obviously, I'll say it right now, 2 at the very least, 3 at most Hall of Fame coaches right there.
100%. Yeah. If nothing else, it's one of the best coached divisions, I think, up there with like
AFC West.
Yeah, with all the crazy coaches over there. But fantastic division, fantastic game, great year for the NFC. I think honestly the playoff picture will look very different in the NFC. The AFC, I don't know. Like that was so odd with how some of the teams made it in, but I feel like we've seen a little bit of a passing of the torch to different teams. But the NFC, there was so many teams out of nowhere that just exploded out. It was just a crazy year of football. Amen.
Amen. Craziest year we've seen. A lot of interesting choices made by teams, and I think we're gonna see another great year next year with some things. But with that being said, next week we'll pick our picks for the winner of the Super Bowl. If you bet money, I would not recommend listening to us.
I also wouldn't recommend betting on this game because I really don't. I don't know. The whole season's been crazy, and I don't imagine this is going to be like a slam dunk. I don't know where the odds are at right now, but I feel like it's probably leaning Seahawks, but I still feel like this could really go either way.
It really could. But I have my thoughts and opinions. I wouldn't be surprised either for the Mike and Mike Bowl. I hope it's a good, fun time in California when they're there. Hope it doesn't rain. Or I hope it does.
I hope it snows.
I think that'd be really weird.
I mean, it's a domed field, so it doesn't matter, but it'd be cool if it snowed.
I don't think it is domed. I don't think Levi's domed.
I believe everywhere that hosts the Super Bowl now has to be domed. I want to say they decided that a few years back. I could be talking completely out of my left
Domed
butt.
or at least warm weather?
I think domed.
We'll look at that, and
won't.
someone in the comments will yell at us. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll yell at myself. You dummy. And with that,
let's talk about some awards.
So MVP, obviously, the two front runners are Matthew Stafford, 37 years old, incredible career, incredible player, and Drake-Thany May.
Drake May.
Second year, did not have a great first year, but has really turned it around this year. I believe also on that list, Christian McCaffrey, which is crazy.
But also not, because without him, that team would have fell apart. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, you had Mac Jones and everything. He was the most consistent player you had all year for that team, and without him, they would not have made it as far as they did.
True, but it feels more like a tip of the cap than an actual, like, could he win it? His number of touches was fucking nuts. Like, he was over 50% of that offense for most of the year. But his yards per carry weren't great. It was really just like an overpouring of production. But he is on the list. I can't remember the other quarterbacks.
Well, I can tell you the entire list. I have it right in front of me. So, for the MVP, the AP Most Valuable Player, presented by Invisalign. We're not sponsored, by the way. Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills. Trevor Lawrence for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Drake May for the New England Patriots. Christian McCaffrey for the Niners. And, of course, Matt Stafford for the Los Angeles Rams. So, real quick, I'm going to rank 5-1 who I think is going to be the winner. So, I was essentially saying my winner. Number 5, Trevor Lawrence. Not because he did bad, because there was other players on that team who could have gotten it. I mean, and Liam Cohen was the sauce.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great second half of the season. I think he was playing all right in the first half, but he really came alive in that second half and was doing crazy shit. I'm excited to see what comes in the future, but I agree. I think he's the least likely, but I love that he got the nod. That alone, I think, is a huge success for this team, and if they keep playing like they are towards the back half of the season, like, he could be an MVP frontrunner next year, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Yes. Some of these guys don't have great coaches, don't get me wrong, but these guys have these other guys on this list have shown that they are consistent, great players. So honestly, Trevor Lawrence, excuse me, is my number 5. Is that who you're also picking for? Like,
yeah,
a number
I'm gonna
5?
throw him at 5 as well.
For my number 4, I am gonna say Christian McCaffrey, even though we should respect on his name. So here's the thing: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I also have him at 4. We're probably gonna agree on all of them, except maybe 1 and 2. But
probably.
Christian McCaffrey is an incredible player. He did it again, another 1,000, just a truly absurd amount of touches, and the fact that he held together is like truly insane. So good for him, but the yards per carry weren't there. He was not like, he was the definition of an MVP player if it was actually what that means. But as far as what the MVP is in the NFL, he just isn't really that. And it doesn't go to non-quarterbacks anymore unless they're fucking nuts. I don't think we're going to see
the
that
last
change.
one was Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
2012.
I think if Jonathan Taylor had continued through the whole season, he would have still been my front runner, honestly. But, that team kind of fell apart. And I just don't think that this is the year that a running back would get it. I feel like to get it, you're going to have to break the rushing record.
Honestly,
at this point.
some wide receivers should have gotten it, to be honest. Like Puka, Jackson Smith. Grant you, do they rely on their quarterback? Yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even if you want to give it to, you're not going to. Another reason they give it to McCaffrey is because he had two different quarterbacks to play with all year. So that's another thing why he could be MVP. But for my number 3, even though I think, in all honesty, he is the definition of MVP. But again, as Grayson said here, we got to do by the NFL rules. Josh Allen. I mean, he was the guy. He was a Bill. There was nobody else on that team. Just a bunch of just a couple of dudes, trying to hunt with him. But he was the guy. He was a leader of the herd, if you will.
Yeah, obviously Josh Allen's a generational talent. This was not his best year, but he looked great as always. I think he loses it out here on the kind of popularity contest of it all. They didn't have the win rate. They had some uglier losses, and he had some games where he didn't look as good, maybe against a certain team down south. So I don't think it goes to Josh Allen
love that
this
game.
year, but he definitely deserves to be in the conversation kind of always. And he is also my third spot. He was so good.
And then honestly for 1A, 1B, because Drake May, Matthew Stafford. So you give it to Drake May because it's the second year. He took a team that was hot garbage last year with a great coach, by the way, and brought him back to the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford, the old man, the silver fox, if you will.
Ooh.
The man, the myth, the legend, carrying this team with Sean McVay back to the championship game, close to retirement. His best friend from high school and from his hometown, Clayton Kershaw, retiring. It's really tough to say. As Grayson said before, a lot of his peers are also retiring, are possibly getting ready to retire, like Aaron and whatnot. So you can't go wrong with either guys.
Really, I don't think you can. Really, where I lean, I think I would go second to Drake May and first to Matthew Stafford. I think Stafford, I haven't looked incredibly over all of the stats and everything, but I did watch all of the games. And the thing that most makes me lean towards Stafford, and maybe we shouldn't think about MVPs this way, but Drake May is going to be in this conversation again. I think he's shown that. He had an insane passer rating. He led in passer rating, led in completion percentage. He had a phenomenal season. We'll see him here again. I don't know that we're going to see Matthew Stafford again at all, let alone in this conversation. So I think on that alone, I would give it to Stafford because I think they've played both incredible seasons, and it really could go to either one. So I would lean Stafford just for the kind of aura around it. Even if potentially Drake May could have had the nod instead, but also Stafford had the tougher schedule with just being in the division that he's in. He had some crazy tough games in there. So yeah, I do lean Stafford, but I'm gonna be fine either way. If Stafford retires though after this year, I would be sad if he does not get the MVP.
Absolutely. I do think you're talking more like a press member. Good job. Pundit. I think certain personalities will be very proud of you.
Foul.
I will agree with you, though. I think it is going to go to Stafford. I think both guys are deserving of it. I really do think that.
Don't mind me. I'm just picking up my dick.
Nice. I think Drake May will eventually crack the race again. He'll be ready to go. Is going to go to Matt Stafford, but if Drake May happens to win, I will not be surprised. But AP Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not going to say they're presented by. We have Will Anderson of the Houston Texans. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. Nick Bonito of the Denver Broncos. Myles Garrett. Hey! From the Cleveland Browns. Aiden Hutchinson from the Lions. And Micah Parsons, somehow.
He had a tough end of
Green
the
Bay
year,
Packers.
But up to once he lost his leg in war, he was definitely on a run for Defensive Player of the Year. But it's Myles Garrett. I don't even think this one is a tough conversation. He broke the sack record. He looked phenomenal. I don't think anything else goes into the decision.
I
honestly.
think the only thing that's holding him back is that was on a losing team,
Yeah.
and the fact that the team lost their coach. All these other guys, they have their coaches still. They have either were close to the playoffs or made the playoffs, like the Lions. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson would be a good pick. Micah Parsons, he's fine. I wouldn't hate it, but
I don't think Micah Parsons, because of the injury, which is sad, but because of that injury, I don't think he quite gets there. Aiden Hutchinson, it feels more like a cute little givey. I like him more as like comeback player of the year than I do Depoy. And then for the Broncos, I feel like that was kind of just like a team effort, less
Yeah.
than like one man. So
I think I'd pick Pat. I know Pat Surtain missed some games, so I would have preferred Pat Surtain in there.
Yeah, honestly, I think he was more impactful on this team overall. And then Will Anderson Jr. is phenomenal and
Yes.
talent and deserving, but he didn't break the sack record. Like that's really what it comes.
No,
down to
he
for
did
me.
not. But the overall defense looked good. He was a leader on there.
Yes.
He definitely was able to
Crack some quarterback backs.
all the time and open up some possibilities for other players like Toa, if you will. Honestly, if they were to give it to Will Anderson, I'd be fine. They go if it's given to Myles Garrett, I'm also fine with that. It's the better pick, but out of everybody else, it should be one of those two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't like really giving it to anybody else, if I'm being honest. If we are ranking them, I'd probably go 5. The gentleman from the Broncos, who I'm not.
Bonito.
That's the one. At 4, I'd go
Micah for me.
Micah Parsons, just because he didn't finish out the season,
Right.
unfortunately.
3 Hutch.
Yeah, 3 Hutchinson, and then 2 Will Anderson,
Anderson,
1
Garrett.
Myles Garrett, just because he broke the sack record. I know it was in 17 games, but he also did it in 200 less snaps. Go fuck yourself.
Absolutely. For Offensive Player of the Year, we have Drake May, we have McCaffrey, Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams, Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons, and Jackson Smith and Jigba of the Seattle Seahawks. Let me throw something out here.
Throw it to
Let
me.
me throw something out here.
Don't actually throw it because everything will explode. He threw it.
As I throw it to him, Bijan Robinson should get the Offensive Player of the Year. And,
No.
and let me say this. He is the reason. It wasn't because of Penix. Sorry, I almost said penis.
Michael Penis.
It's not
Jr.
because of Kirk Cousins. Definitely not because of Raheem Morris that they have won some of these games. This man had a fire lit under him. He was angry. He was running. He was doing all the things, and he was inspiring his team to keep up with him. He is the guy. Will it show in the stat column? Not necessarily, and he won't win it. But I think he would have a great argument to say he is. And with Kevin Stefanski next year, he's
gonna
going
be back in
to
this
he's going to get close to the rushing record.
I could see him being in the MVP conversation. I could see him breaking the rushing record. I think Bijan is one of the best running backs in the league, up there with like Jahmyr Gibbs and Saquon up the middle.
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, like one of those just absolutely, truly elite. Like Bijan is insane, but I don't think this is the year for him. I do think it goes to one of the wide receivers, either Puka or JSN.
And let me throw this to you. It should be Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I actually disagree. I think,
Yeah, Buckeye hate right here.
yeah, fuck the Buckeyes, first of all.
Go
I would
fuck
I'd
yourself.
like to put that on the record.
No, you wouldn't. Go fuck yourself.
If our typographer could go ahead and put it. No!
I'm very violent, everybody, when it comes to the Buckeyes.
He's
I am
just
a
always
true
violent.
Buckeye.
He beats me. Please don't listen. Please, someone send help. I think it should be Puka because he had, I believe, at least 1 less game, maybe 2 less games, and he was pushing for the receiving yards highest in the league. I'm not sure who had more touchdowns off the top of my head, but I will say JSN, incredible. His yards after catch, crazy. Puka was really more of the guy that just always catches the ball when you throw it to him. And he did have some great yards after the catch, but mostly he would just have the craziest catches I've ever seen in my life. But I do lean Puka because he didn't even have all of the games and was still like right up there in the conversation. I think with that game, he gets it easy. So those are my only 2.
So
I'm not mad either way. but I
Puka
go
has 129 receptions, 1,715 yards this year. Sorry, I pushed back too quickly on.
He also led my fantasy team to the playoffs. Thank you, Puka. I love you.
biased. Averaged 13.3 yards, had 10 touchdowns, the most of his career. Fun fact.
Okay. I mean, Devontae Adams was like gobbling up touchdowns like crazy, so I'm not surprised he doesn't have more.
And for Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is 6 foot on the dot, apparently. I think he's a little bit shorter than that, actually.
Lying on his Tinder profile. Shame on you.
119 receptions, 1,793 yards, averaging 15.1 yards a catch. Hugh also had 10 touchdowns.
So super comparable. JSN had a game on him. So that's kind of why I lean Puka. I think JSN has a better stat line, obviously. Touchdowns are tied, but everything else goes JSN. But because of that extra game and it's still being so close, that's why I lean Puka.
Puka is not going to the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah, but the playoffs don't matter for awards. Or they're not supposed to.
They're not supposed to, but we all know they do.
They do.
NFL,
I'm not going to be mad.
You're not lying.
Like, if it's JSN, well-deserved. If it's Puka, well-deserved. I think both of those are, like, obvious slam dunks. I don't think I'm going to be ecstatic if it's one of the others on the list. If Drake May doesn't get MVP and he gets Offensive Player of the Year, I'm fine with that. But if we're going to keep basically forcing MVP to be a quarterback award, which is what we've been doing, then Offensive Player of the Year should not be a quarterback award since they have their own goddamn category.
What if we do it like Madden does and just do like by the
position? I love that, honestly. I think I kind of love the idea of a awards by position categories for everything, just so that those like popularity contest awards, because there's a bunch of like MVP caliber players where they can't be in that conversation because it's not how it works. You know, like Myles Garrett broke the sack record. Is he going to be in the MVP talks? No.
Never.
So, you know, we might as well just give him like, yeah, you were the best defensive end, or if you want to just like sum up the whole line or whatever. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that if they went that way.
I don't hate it either. So it's gonna be we'll just say it's gonna be a wide receiver. How about that?
I think it should be. If it's Drake May, whatever. But who is the other one? Christian
McCaffrey. He also could win it.
Can also win it. I think MVP is like a cute little nod. Offensive Player of the Year is more valid, and if he gets it, I'm not going to be mad because of just sheer quantity.
He's also nominated for another award, which we'll get to in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, so I mean, he can run the gauntlet and get a bunch of awards. He had a season worthy of it, but I do lean one of the wide receivers for me, and I love Bijan, but I just don't think he needs to get it this year.
It should. Turning to the Offensive Rookie of the Year, we have Jackson Dart from the New York Giants, Mika Egbuka from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, also a Buckeye, Travion Henderson from the New England Patriots, Buckeye, McMillan from Carolina, and Tyler Shuff.
You didn't want to say Tetaroa?
I did not want to be incorrect. Yes, I was
Tetaroa McMillan, the Tet Offensive, as some call him.
T. McMillan from Carolina. You're
Where
welcome. Okay, so here's the problem, is that all these guys at one point in the season could have won it, but this is an overall award.
This is one of the tougher ones because of that. A few of these guys were out a bunch of games. Some of them didn't even play half the season. So this is one of the weirder, like, Rookie of the Years.
So here's who I'm going to give you give two answers here. Here's who should win it. Should be Tyler from the New Orleans Saints. I mean, he started off rough. He didn't even start the full year, but Kellen Moore came in. They started to get energized underneath him. They were more empowered with him. They were dipping into the bag of tricks.
We got a new one. We got another catchphrase. Run it up.
Dipping into well, that makes sounds next. Dipping into the bag of tricks for Moore. But who is probably going to win? It's going to probably be Jackson Dart because that's the more sexy pick.
I hope it's not Jackson.
I hope it's not either. I hope it is Tyler. But look, Emeka Egbuka, he was great the first half of the season, then he disappeared.
And he was in the game. Like, he had a couple games where he was out, don't get me wrong, but he disappeared down the stretch. So, cut for me as far as, like, conversation. Jackson Dart only played, like, half the season. He was dead the other half. He looked good some of those games, but he looked awful some of the other ones. I think
Henderson, he wasn't used enough.
He wasn't used a ton of the game. He wasn't even playing until like halfway through the season, and then he was out for 2 games in the end of it. I definitely think Henderson, if he had played all the games, would be my front runner because I think we would have seen just insane numbers of explosive plays. But as far as like people that can reasonably win it, T-Mac.
Let me tell you what he had. I want you to hear that really quick. He had 70 receptions, 1,014 yards, and he
As a
also
rookie.
had 7 touchdowns, which is fantastic for a rookie, by the way.
Incredible. I think, honestly, I give it to T-Mac or Tyler Shuck. They both didn't really do – I mean, Shuck literally did nothing at the start of the season. He wasn't playing. And then T-Mac didn't really come alive until, 4 or 5 weeks in. But he looked phenomenal. He was a big reason that offense started super clicking, and he had such insane chemistry with Bryce Young. So I would be happy with a McMillan selection, but I do think Tyler Shuck really showed that he is like a strong quarterback. I'd love to see him get it. I think it's one of those two, though. I would not be happy with any of the other options, honestly.
Do you know who, if he would have played more and didn't kill himself, would have actually been nominated?
Cam Scatterbo?
Cam Scatterbo. Do you know who probably would have won it? If
Tyler Shuck.
Cam Scatterbo.
I mean, I think the same could be said for Dart. I think if he had played every game and he had looked like he looked in those games where he was really good, I could definitely say Jackson Dart deserves it. But he just didn't play a lot of the games, and half the time he just had some tough ones. I mean, he threw like 3 picks against the Saints and looked awful. You know, he was not consistent enough this year.
Agreed. But moving on to the Defensive Rookie of the Year, presented by Madden, actually. That's the only one I'll say.
Whoa,
because we play a shit ton of that game. So much fucking Madden.
Sponsored by Loving Madden.
Hey, guys we play with, play your fucking games.
Yeah, bitch.
We have a dual Carter from the New York Giants. We have Nick Amonwori from the Seattle Seahawks. James Pierce Jr. from the Atlanta Falcons. Carson Schweissinger, I hope I said that right, from the Browns. And Xavier Watts from the Atlanta Falcons. By the way, good for the Falcons having 2 of them on there, by the way.
They drafted mad this year, honestly. They had a fantastic draft. That team has a lot of hope if they can figure out the quarterback position. But this one is, again, kind of tough. We had some players not, in all of the games. Not everybody looked great down the whole stretch. I am a little split on this one, more than I am most of the other ones. I'd probably lean, I guess, Schweissinger, because I do think he looked really good the majority of the games, and some of these other guys less so. I think the Falcons' defense was insanely spiky. There were games where no one did anything, so I kind of lean against anyone on that defense. Schweissinger looked really good down the stretch. I forgot the other names.
Well, let me tell you this
That's
really
3
quick.
of them. I'm pretty good at remembering
about
stuff.
Schweissinger. He played in 16 games. He had 67 tackles, 90 assisted tackles, a total of 157 combined tackles, 58 with 2.5 sacks, which isn't great, but whatever. 58 solos, 2 interceptions, by the way, which is pretty good. No forced fumbles. So I mean, he did great. He's also
he's a linebacker. He's not going to have the sexiest stat line. It's going to be a lot of tackles.
He would be my pick. Looking at Nick Amonwori from the Seahawks, I mean, he played in only 14 games. There's only 14 games. He started in 11 of them. He had 56 tackles, 25 assists, 81 combined, 55 solo, 2.5 sacks as well, no safeties, 1 interception. But he's part of a really good group, so he's probably helped by that.
He's more of a unit, kind of like the Broncos. I don't really love giving a player from those teams a super big nod because I don't think there's been insanely big standout players. There's been an extremely efficient effort by the entire front, and that's still that's not to take anything away from them. It just means I don't like you as much for an award. Sorry.
That's fine. And, Pierce didn't have the greatest of stats. I think he just played great with the unit as a whole. Watts, he actually started all 17 games, 59 tackles, 37 assisted tackles, 96 combined, 57 solo. No sacks, no safeties, 5 interceptions. That's actually really fantastic as a rookie.
Actually pretty crazy. Good for him. So, I mean, it can go to him, honestly. I didn't realize he had so many interceptions.
Yeah.
And I'm not super passionate about Schweissinger being it. I think he had a great year. But it probably goes to Watts off 5 interceptions, actually. I mean,
That's
damn near-
fantastic.
He didn't lead the league because I believe Kevin Byard led it with 7, but that's like pushing.
But Bayard's like what,
He's like
8,
30
9 years in?
Yeah, I believe he's like 33, 34. So, I mean, and that was a Bears team that was like all about the picks. So I'm sure like 5 of those guys also had 4 picks,
Yep.
knowing them.
I mean, great on the Giants for having two rookies be nominated, but Abdul Carter had too much baggage.
He didn't play a ton. They kind of rotated him in and out. I think he is a great talent that needs to be a little bit molded, and that team was just so up and down this year that he didn't really get a great like hand to be molded.
I mean, good for him for getting 4 sacks, but that's about all. And 2 forced fumbles. But
he's a great talent, and I do think Burns kind of like sniped a lot of his sacks. So there's not a pressure stat, but if you look at the film, Abdul Carter is a monster, and I think that defensive line is going to be a menace for anybody that plays them once they're really solidified in their roles. But I don't think this was quite the year that he gets like a bunch of award nods and things like that. I could see him being a defensive player of the year candidate down the stretch. Absolutely.
Especially with Harbaugh now coaching him, he's going to have that experience. He's going to bring that culture in there. He's going to be held accountable.
He's going to be able to lose games when you're up 24 points.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of different options here for him, but I think it'll be better with him. So honestly, Watts or Schweichinger.
Yeah,
leaning towards
I'm
Watts.
Super passionate about that one. I don't think we had like an obvious defensive player of the year this year. But that's also a side of the ball that I think like every rookie needs to be molded a bit. I think defense is a lot more of a shock from college to the NFL, and it takes a little bit longer to really see like that talent like all the way through. Not always. We've seen some people like really come out swinging, but for the most part, like it's just a different game, and it usually takes a little bit longer to adapt to that.
Absolutely. Moving on to the comeback player of the year. Give these out really quick. Stephon Diggs, Aiden Hutchinson, Trevor Lawrence, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott. For me, we have to have the award. It's great. Almost all these guys came back from injury, essentially. I
giving it to people that came back from injury. That's kind of how I view it. It's like you were injured and you had a good year afterwards. I like Aiden Hutchinson for this award. I don't even remember if he said he was nominated.
He is nominated.
I like him for this award because he didn't just have a normal injury either. He like broke his fucking leg or something.
Yeah, he kind of tore it off essentially.
He like tore his leg off and beat a man with it because he's on the Lions defense. So I do like him for this award. I like Dak Prescott as well because he low-key had an MVP year.
Yes.
They just kind of fell out down the stretch.
And they hit. That's a whole other conversation about how the Dallas Cowboys are failing Dak.
Yeah, they really are. It's crazy how talented he is, and I'm not like a Cowboys,
anything.
But he had an insane year and played MVP caliber through. He was my MVP like front runner for a big chunk of the year. So I like Dak for it. I like Christian McCaffrey for it because he literally got his legs sawed off and replaced in Germany or whatever the fuck. And then Aiden Hutchinson as well. Trevor Lawrence, he kind of had an injury last year. He had that concussion, but
I think a lot of it was also because they lost so bad, and him and Cohen turned that team around.
His feels more like what saying comeback player of the year should mean. He like came back from a bad year and had a good one, but I think of it as the injury award, and he didn't get injured enough, so I don't like him for the award.
For me. And this is not an award I necessarily care about. I think it's a nice award. I think, honestly, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award means a lot more, if you want my opinion. But if you put a gun to my head, essentially, I guess I'd pick McCaffrey, even though I think he's won it before, or he's definitely been nominated a couple times.
I think he's been nominated. He's like Joe Burrow, where I feel like he's in this conversation every year.
And Joe Burrow won it last year, fun fact.
Yeah, he's won it twice. And I remember he got up there and was like, not the award you want to win twice.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. If you're good, I want to move on to Coach of the Year.
I would love to. That's much more interesting.
Actually, you know what? We're going to say that for last because we're going to talk about the Assistant Coach of the Year first.
I am not super duper up on assistant coaches, if I'm being 100. I don't pay
Which is why we're doing it second to last.
So,
But definitely some names in here.
Yeah.
So let me give him to you. From the Philadelphia Eagles, Vic Fangio. And honestly, he could deserve it because he had to help pretty much run both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that is one name that I definitely recognize. That defense is elite. The offense was a shit show. So
Vic, you should do both.
I don't hate it. I mean, he absolutely is like deserving of it, honestly.
Brian Flores to the Minnesota Vikings. I think in any other year, yes, but they're very susceptible. He did with what he had, of course, but I just
had a
don't
really
think it
rough
was.
year,
Yeah,
honestly. Like the offense was not working at all, so the defense was out there like the entire game. So I think that is an elite defense, and Brian Flores is like one of the greatest to ever defense the ball. Him and Spags are like just true, and Sala, honestly. Those are three guys where like you don't ever want to see their defenses. But I don't think this was the Flores year.
little quick fun fact here. There's 3 DCs nominated and only 2 OCs because our last DC nominated is Vance Joseph of the Denver Broncos. Also well deserved, just because of the unit he put together. They did kind of fall apart there towards the end, but I think overall he did a great season. He only kept that championship game to 10 points. You can't take anything away from him.
Not at all. And that is one of those defenses where I think the entire team just plays so well compared to some of the other ones where like the Eagles have some absolute stars. They have a lot of them, so it helps. But I think of it more as like the star players make the plays for them. Jalen Carter, crazy. You know, their rookies or now second years on the Eagles are nuts. But the Broncos defense just as an entire unit was crazy. So well deserved if you got it.
Going to the 2 OCs on this list, Clint Kubiak of the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, with Jigba, with Walker, with getting Sam Darnold back to that place where he was with Kevin O'Connell, I think well deserved. I think he could go be a head coach somewhere. He definitely showed on a defensive team why it's good to have. Oh, not why it's good. Why it's important to have a strong OC.
Oh yeah, and they were blowing people out of the water. They had games where they were scoring like they looked like the Lions last year where they'd score like 50-3. So absolutely would be well deserved by him. He could easily be a head coach.
And he could be because our last guy is never going to be a head coach ever again. He is a permanent forever OC. Josh McDaniels of the New England Patriots. I don't want him to win it because go fuck yourself, you Patriots motherfucker. You've won with Brady. You're winning with Drake May. You don't deserve this. I'm sorry. Actually, you do. You do.
We're coming in, everybody.
And you've done it with not only Belichick, but also with Vrabel. But great job. You definitely took a young man, put your wings on, put a halo above your head, you were his angel, and you got him to the promised land. So good on you, Josh McDaniels. You still don't fucking deserve it, you poser.
I think he deserves it pretty well. That team doesn't have a ton of talent. A quarterback, obviously, Drake May is insane, but they don't have like a bunch of stars all across that offense. So I'd be happy with it. Honestly, I think the only one that I feel a little weird about is Brian Flores. Not because he's not like deserving skill and talent wise as a DC, but just because I don't think this was the year. Other than that, I think anybody. Again, I'm not super passionate about assistant coaches. There's definitely some great ones, and I think like slight disrespect to Saleh for not putting him on there.
Absolutely, but I also think him heading to a head coaching job pretty quickly is part of the reason. But he really, if I had to take one of these DCs out, it'd be Brian Flores, and I would put Saleh in there.
Yeah, I think honestly you could put Saleh in over Flores, and I would have liked to see our DC for the Texans.
Matt Burke, shout out. You did deserve it, my friend.
I honestly think he should have been up there. I think you could have put him over the Broncos defense because I do think
for sure.
Texans had the best defense in the league. Broncos and them were kind of fighting for it up until like the final 4-ish games. They started to really fall apart a bit. And I don't think the Texans did that at all. They were holding people to like no points, basically. It was insane. So I think that was a little bit of a slight on him. I would have loved to see him in that conversation.
Agreed. But if I had to give it to anybody on here, I'd probably give it to Clint Kubiak, to be honest, or Vic Fangio.
I'd give it to myself for how I've coached the Packers offense in our franchise in Madden. Okay, next. Yeah.
Great. To the last one of the awards, the AP Coach of the Year, we have Liam Cohen of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Meow.
Ben Johnson of Chicago
Never let it rest.
Mike McDonald of the Seattle Seahawks. Kyle Shanahan of the
I was
49ers.
trying to think of a Seahawks sound. Did they just go? Yeah, that's what they play in the stadium.
Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers. She take my money.
That's the one. That's the keep it. Keep the tick. Next.
And finally, Mike Vrabel of the New England Patriots.
So as far as the, I just wasn't even gonna give him nothing. You know, this is another tough one. I also think D'Amico could have been up here.
Absolutely, but I think because of how our offense performed.
Yes, but mostly just because of what they managed to accomplish. Like coming back from 0-3, winning so many games with your backup. You know, I do want to give him like the credit to be in the conversation, but it was a pretty stacked like coach of the year class. So it's hard to fit him in there, and I don't want to take away from anybody. I don't think he wins it necessarily, but I do think he should have gotten it.
I think you put him at 7 or 8 because you could have put somebody else on here if you really wanted to. But
yeah, there's a couple other coaches that I think could very easily be in this conversation. Sean McVay, honestly.
Sean McVay.
You know,
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, yeah. I think Sean Payton probably goes above McVay for me. I think Payton and D'Amico could absolutely have been here. They weren't, you know, and I don't think it's like have to.
And
be
at
here.
one point in the year, you could have put Schottenheimer on here.
Yeah, honestly, like I think Schottenheimer also did incredible things with his team. But as far as who gets it,
so I'm
doing a
here's
bit,
this.
so I need you to start.
So here's who I would eliminate. Here's who I would eliminate. I would eliminate Kyle Shanahan, and here's the reason why, folks. Real quick, this is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like there is not much. Darts off, boys.
Best. Never let it rest. It goes to Ben Johnson.
It goes to Ben Johnson. Shanahan is number 5 just because all of his team got fucking hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to give him the nod. I think low-key he's the spot that I probably swap out for one of those other coaches we mentioned because he didn't.
If you want to put Liam Cohen at 5, I wouldn't hate it either.
No, I think Liam Cohen deserves to be like really in the conversation. I think Shanahan was kind of just the like, damn, I can't believe you ran that miracle, which is super valid.
Honestly, you can even put Vrabel down there. Honestly, Ben Johnson is the number 1 guy.
That's my number 1. I think Vrabel's probably my 2, and then Cohen my 3.
McDonald can be 4.
Is that McDonald?
McDonald. Yes.
Yeah, I think McDonald 4, and then we'll probably throw Shanahan at 5. And I don't. Again, I'm not taking away from Shanahan. He's like one of the best coaches in the NFL, hands down. But I think mostly it was tossed to him because how do you even do that with everyone dead?
I don't think any other coach could do it.
No.
To be honest, out of all these nominations, this is the one guy. And again, folks, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like there is not a
so
1,
tight.
2. It is.
I think you can give it to anyone here, and I'm happy with it. But I do think what Ben Johnson has accomplished with a Bears organization that was a complete mess, they don't really have like any culture to lean back on, and he fully reformed it from the ground up. Like I think Vrabel did something similar, but the Patriots have a lot more of a long-standing, like cemented culture of excellence. I mean, they're the strongest dynasty of all time. So I don't think it's like as much of a leap to get that team rolling as it is to get a team like the Bears rolling like he did. And I think Cohen similarly did something phenomenal and turned this team around, but that also took a little bit. They were a bit shaky through the first half of the season where the other two kind of just hit the ground running. The Bears didn't start phenomenal, but it took them like 2 or 3 games and they were off. And Vrabel, I just think, had a little bit more to work with than some of the others. Like, the Bears have a lot of good stuff on the team, but it was just such a fucking mess. Like, my God, the Bears of last year were awful.
Absolutely. Here's the thing, though, he does need to get somewhere close next year. Make sure it wasn't a fluke.
Sure.
Make sure it is not a one and done. I don't think it is.
I think that's the case for the top 3, though, honestly.
Sure.
All of them looked incredible this year, Cohen, Vrabel, and Ben Johnson. But if they can't replicate it next year, then it's going to be a much different conversation, you know?
Absolutely. I'm okay with any of these guys winning it. And I'll tell you what I want to talk about really quick. I want to talk about some Hall of Fame. I want to talk about some Hall of Fame snubs.
We got a drama alert. Drama. DJ Drama.
That's us. So Bill Belichick is allegedly, reportedly, not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. What the fuck?
That definitely came through my mic, that's for sure.
Yeah, I had to turn mine off because I don't want to explode anybody's ears. Look,
so-
I can't stand the man. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's terrible at the microphone. I think he has an ego the size of this fucking room. But you can't take away what he did. Yes, it was a lot Brady, and he's shown it. And we have seen now it's been a lot of Brady. But the defense was there. He won not only with the Patriots, he won with Parcells and with the Giants organization. The man is good at his fucking job.
One of the best coaches of all time.
Ever.
Like, objectively, no one else really has the resume that he does. And you can point to whatever you want. He was the coach of the Patriots while they were doing it. I don't like him either. I think he's out there doing crazy shit, but I do think the extracurriculars snubbed him out of the first ballot, and that's disrespectful, flat out. Like, and I don't think he deserves a ton of respect, but you gotta look at what he accomplished, and snubbing him out of this is just so crazy to me. Like, I don't like that at all.
No. Look, yes, he's horrible on the college level right now. He's dating a much younger woman than him.
Also
Great.
really pretty.
Yes. And you know what? You know, they're both consenting adults. You can only do so much. But I can't stand the man. I really can't. But you can't take away his accolades. You can't brush over what he's done.
And this is not a popularity thing in my mind. This is like what the Hall of Fame is about. What did you accomplish? Are you one of those people that gets talked about forever? And are we not going to be talking about Bill Belichick in 10 years? Like, he is like one of the most insane runs of all time. You literally cannot take that away. I think it's truly so disrespectful and an awful precedent, low key, of like what's to come.
He's obviously made a lot of enemies in the media, and the media is who votes on this, and is now shown that. I mean, the man has over 300 wins, both regular season and playoffs. I mean, you can't take that away from him. He's won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach. I think he's like 1 or 2 as an assistant. He has done a lot for the game. He also is one of the true historians of the game. You talk to him, apparently he knows ball.
Yeah, he knows ball like crazy, and yeah, I can rant about it all day, but I think this is mad disrespectful, and I really, really dislike this choice. I think the only thing that should like kick you out of Hall of Fame consideration is like felonies. Anything else, you know, that's their fucking business. We can talk about it all day and all of our complaints with it. I think Bill Belichick's a piece of shit and terrible person. He's also a Hall of Fame coach.
Absolutely. So real quick, let's talk about the things that probably kept him out. Spygate, number 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy in there. Spygate, Deflategate, the Fuckgate.
Aaron Hernandez. I think that and some other things. But here's the thing: he was a ruthless competitor, still is. He wanted to win at all costs, and yeah, maybe it did involve a little bit of cheating.
Listen, I'm talking straight to you. Point to an NFL coach that hasn't kind of looked the other way when their player was committing felonies. Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is currently doing that.
With
Sean
2.
Payton has done that.
I mean,
you know,
come on, for Christ's sakes. Fun fact, did you know that I think it's like 33% of the Florida Gators team that Aaron Hernandez was on has been in jail?
Yeah.
Urban Meyer.
So, you know, I just don't know that there's obviously a lot of controversy around the entire run of Belichick. It was not like clean and squeaky, but he was a damn good competitor. He changed the rules of the NFL forever. I just think this is so disrespectful, and I really don't like the precedents that it sets of if we don't like you, then you don't get to be in the Hall of Fame. I just don't think it should be about that.
It also shows you that maybe there should be a change. We get some younger folks in there, maybe get some people who are a little less biased, who look only at the numbers.
Yeah.
And
just the impact, you know, like his disciples are still all throughout the NFL. Have many of them been super successful? No, not really. But,
they've been awful.
You know, he's had such an impact on this game. Like, it'd be like if Andy Reid had a mistress after he retired and like committed adultery in public, and we were like, well, I guess he's not a Hall of Famer. No, he's a piece of shit in his free time, but he's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
And it's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the game of football Are you a legend in it? Yes.
Okay.
What you do off the field, we'll complain about in our own time.
Absolutely. So, I mean, let's take a look here. I'm looking at coaches that have been hired and fired. Andy Reid, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Sean McVay.
Yeah. Honestly.
Sean Payton.
Yeah, definitely.
Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Even
that's probably not first ballot, but yeah,
sure.
I think
and grant you, I think it's the fact that Belichick's not a first ballot. He should be first ballot. He's going to get in.
First ballot. He'll absolutely get in. It'll probably be second ballot, but that's literally it's a second ballot because fuck you, and that's the thing.
It's kind of saying they have the TO to Terrell Owens. Also, John Harbaugh, Hall of Famer.
But yeah, Hall of Famer.
Mike Tomlin,
Hall of Famer. Honestly, easy Hall of Famer.
Easy Hall of Famer.
And he's also not popular with the media. He talks like mad shit,
Yeah.
He did. Fucking. What did you see?
Sorry about that, folks.
He said about
my belly came out.
After they beat the Ravens, someone asked him, like, "What if they don't miss that kick?" And he said, "What if my aunt had a dick, then she'd be my uncle or whatever."
Yeah, I don't.
Like,
it sounds
like
like
maniac. Like he's a maniac, but he's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. I mean, I just kind of thinking of a couple more coaches. I mean, not Kyle Shanahan. He's borderline. If he wins the Super Bowl, he for sure will be.
Yeah.
His father is.
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan.
I think he is like one of the greatest, but I don't think he's got the resume yet.
Not quite yet. I'm just trying to think down. If Jim Harbaugh eventually wins the Super Bowl, for sure.
Yeah.
There is so many people out there who are you think about Hall of Fame. It's criminal that he's not first ballot, and I think that's the gripe.
Yeah. Agreed.
But speaking of NFL coaches, I gotta stop saying. But speaking of,
let's get back to NFL coaches tonight on Crack a Cold One podcast,
where we talk about everything. This is my gentle voice. So for the New York Giants, of course, we know John Harbaugh has absolutely filled in that position. Should actually help out Scadaboo and Jackson Dart and the rest of that team build a culture. Anyway,
Did
back
we
to
talk
our
about him already and him getting the job or no?
A little bit.
I like him for the job. I do think we'll see how good of a coach he really is. I think low-key, because he's had some rough years with the Ravens, and he's not a play caller. That's not his bag. So we'll kind of see. I think he's got a great team to coach. I have a lot of faith in the guy. I'm a huge Ravens fan. I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan, and I'm curious to see how it pans out. I think this is either gonna definitively show that he is a phenomenal Hall of Fame coach, or it's gonna show that he was a fraud.
Absolutely. And just to kind of name the rest of the coaches really quick, so we've talked about a lot of these already. Falcons, Stefanski. Halfley goes to the Miami Dolphins. Tennessee Titans get Robert Saleh. Now, there's one we haven't talked about, but Baltimore Ravens get Jesse Minter.
And I have a lot to say. I like it.
I like it as well. It's kind of funny. He comes from that Harbaugh coaching tree.
He does, but the thing about the Ravens is their defense sucks ass. I think if he comes in, fixes up the culture a bit, because they're really messy right now. There's not a whole lot of team love going on. I don't think Lamar's going anywhere. There's been a ton of rumors about it, but I really don't think if you're firing Harbaugh that Lamar is getting traded. He's here for the long haul, at least the rest of the contract, and then who knows. But I think Minter can fix up the defense, hopefully kind of fix up the vibes, and then he just needs to find a great OC. Even just a good OC. I don't think you need a ton of work to fit, but we said that about the Eagles.
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers and Lamar Jackson, get them in a room, and I just want to see the conversation. I feel like it'd be hilarious.
I mean, they're both Southern boys, I think, so they'll get it.
It'd be interesting, but I think there's a lot of OCs that can do the job. I really don't think this is a tough job to do, low-key. The same thing with the Eagles, and Kevin Patullo showed me that it's harder than it looks. But
hey, Grayson, which Harbaugh tree is Jesse Minter from?
Jimmy John?
Actually, Jimmy John is the correct answer. From both.
Nice. So let's go. I was thinking
from
back
both.
and I was like, I think he's been a part of both.
He sure has. The most interesting hire of the week, I would say, Mike McCarthy to the Pittsburgh Steelers. As I've heard, the offensive Mike Tomlin. And boy, I don't think we'll ever see Aaron Rodgers make a faster decision, whether he stays or if he goes.
I think he's so fucking gone. I think he wants no part of Mike
yeah.
McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy gets a lot of bad rep. I think he's a better coach than he's given credit for.
Oh, for sure.
And I think
he's won a lot. He's won a Super Bowl, for Christ's sakes.
And, he had like 3 in a row, 12 and 5 years with the Cowboys. They were getting bounced every year. Very Tomlin-esque. But
real quick, he has coached the blue bloods of the NFL because he's done the Packers, he's done the Cowboys, now he's done the Steelers.
Yeah.
I mean, who else on their resume can say, yeah, I've literally coached the blue bloods, all the blue bloods essentially. Because I can't really think of anybody else who'd be a blue blood. Even the Patriots aren't because they were sucky for so fucking long.
Yeah.
In the 90s and 80s and 70s, that who can say that?
Yeah, I mean,
the Giants would be the other one I can think of.
Yeah, the resume
so 3 out of 4
is excellent, and I think he put together a great team with Dak. If he can do that again, I like it as a hire. If we're looking at tearing it down and rebuilding it, and we trust in Mike McCarthy to do that, because I think there's potential there. I don't think he's like the worst choice to do so. But if we're looking to run it back, and that was the whole goal, and we're like, please, Aaron, come back. Let's run it back to another playoff run. That is the dumbest decision I've ever seen.
Instead of 6 weeks, he's going to take him 2 to make a decision.
I don't think anyone in the league, honestly, is going to, maybe like Saleh, is going to do better with this current Steelers roster and running them to the playoffs. This team sucks. Like, top down, it is tough out there.
It's tough out there.
So you need to tear it down and start over. If you don't, what the fuck are you doing?
What I will say is that McCarthy is from Pittsburgh. He does understand the culture. He does understand, he was there with, as a kid with Chuck Noll and everything. So there's going to be a certain love with him in this team. It's going to be a little more emotion in this team.
Yeah, it just comes down to, I've seen a ton of hate for this decision. I'm not ready to give it the hate yet. It's going to depend on what we see from the Steelers in the offseason. If they're just trying to run it back, this is the worst decision I've ever seen.
I hope not. But speaking of kind of bad decisions, Buffalo Bills hired their OC, Joe Brady. Have we not seen enough teams go internally and then suck?
Yeah, I don't like this decision at all. I think he needed to get obviously I don't really know enough about Joe Brady to say, how's it going to go as a head coach, but I have zero faith in this. I think that team needs much more of a, strong hand and decision maker to really steer them towards the promised land with Josh Allen, and I don't think that an in-house hire is the right choice, but
I do think this is a Gerard Mayo move where we have a 1 year with a guy in-house and you get rid of him and get the coach of the future. That sucks to say. I don't know how Joe Brady is as a head coach, as a CEO, but
Josh Allen's clock is not infinite, and that's really the thing I hate about this is it's time to put pedal to metal. You're wasting the prime. It's not going to last forever. And if Joe Brady comes in, and I almost just called him Brady, and I was like, we can't do that.
No.
If Joe Brady comes in and has a pissy year and the Bills don't even make the playoffs or something, that is an awful waste of talent, and this just sucks to see. But after all the nonsense that's come out post the McDermott fire, I'm not super surprised. It's been super messy. There's been a lot of hate thrown at McDermott. There's been a lot of talk about 13 or 17 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's been some toxicity brewing for a while, and it seems like ownership just really didn't like McDermott and were pointing a lot of fingers at him. So I don't know that this fire was done for the best reasons. I was a big supporter in firing McDermott just because I didn't think he was going to get all the way there. No, I don't think he's not talented or something, but it just didn't seem like he was going to get all the way there. But it seems like they're doing it to be petty, and they're just doing something else to be petty in response. I really hate this hire.
Yeah. Best of luck to you, man. People, especially superstars, will do better with new voices. You're just getting the same thing just from the offensive side of the ball, and I don't think that's conducive or productive to Josh getting a Super Bowl. But now we only have 3 teams left with no coach. Those being the Arizona Cardinals, the Oakland, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Nice try.
And the Cleveland Clowns. Browns. My bad.
could have sworn you were wearing your Cleveland hat in here. I mean,
I
as far
don't
as the
own one.
Cardinals, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't care. As far as the Browns,
Okay, so did you know that another person has said, "I don't want your job"? Like,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 coaches
several, because
have.
they're making them do essays and shit. They have the weirdest hiring process of the entire league. Like, I don't understand what they're doing over there.
I can tell you, I understand what they're doing. They're doing nothing.
Yeah.
They're unproductive. Haslam, you own fucking gas stations. Stop. Sell the team, please. From an Ohioan, a former from a current Texans fan, a Brown sympathizer, please.
Time to dip out.
Thank you. Dip out. Have someone else dip their toes into the ownership world. Sell the team. I know you're getting a new stadium eventually. Sell it before it gets sold. Have them have to pay for it.
Do anything, honestly.
Anything. For fuck's sakes. I'm turning off the mic for a second. Stop having your head up your fucking ass and bring some respect to fucking Cleveland. God damn.
It's so Ohio of him. I don't know who's going to coach the Browns.
Real quick. The fucking college team should not be the best goddamn team in the fucking state. Go Buckeyes.
Go Buckeyes. It's rough out there in Cleveland, man. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's
And
baffling.
Cincinnati.
And Cincinnati ain't any better.
Cincy,
Zach Taylor.
Cincy,
why the fuck are you
fire Zach Taylor? We'll take him.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll take him as OC. He's not bad. He's not the coach of the Bengals. My God, I cannot believe he's still there. But
No, have him coach the Browns at this point. I don't give a fuck. At least he's been to the goddamn Super Bowl.
they should have just like shifted all of the coaches around in the AFC North.
Have them draw lottery numbers. Fuck.
Yeah, fuck it.
Sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. I'm getting angry now.
Yeah, well, the hiring process is insane. So the Browns have lost out on a lot of really good talent. It looks like they're going to be hiring from within, is the rumors that I've seen, because they really want to keep the DC. I don't remember his name. I don't care about the Browns. They were talking about getting some like hot, high-flying, OC-minded young coach that would have been the youngest coach ever. And honestly, I was all for it. I was like, do something
So
fucking
he
bold,
said,
you know?
"Fuck you," and took more money from the Jags.
Yeah, as he should, because fuck the Browns. They're like playing with people. If I have to ever, go ahead and end it. If I ever have to file an essay to get a coaching job, I'm not going there. Especially when it's the Cleveland Browns.
$15 million up front.
I'll probably go. I mean, it's not like you're the Ravens
In
or
my
something,
bank
or the
account.
Bills, where you have this like all-star roster, and it's like we need to be absolutely sure. Like we're talking about the Browns here. They're a mess. The defense is elite. That's literally all that's there. The O-line is trash. It's regressed so fucking hard. You have a ton of rookie talent. The Browns could be in the same conversation as the Giants as far as potential of a roster, except it's been so mishandled. I don't even know who's going to play quarterback there. It'll probably be Shador by popular vote, but like, who fucking knows anymore? So the Browns are a mess.
And by the way, trigger warning for those. I do apologize if I offended anybody, but Cleveland, we know. Another thing I've seen recently is that what will it take for Dion to go coach Cleveland? I fucking hope
Please
not.
don't. That's so stupid. If he was going to go anywhere, it'd be the Cowboys, honestly, because that's a Jerry Jones-ass move. But, like, please don't. That's all I have to say. It'd be really stupid.
What I will say is the best of the 3 remaining jobs, and this team, I've been waiting for some of these coordinators to become available, is the Las Vegas Raiders. Tom Brady leading the charge, and with the number 1 pick, probably getting Fernando Mendoza as your number 1 pick. I have a little more faith in this team, especially if Mark Davis kind of steps aside and lets Tom do a little bit more, or anybody else in the ownership group. This is the one team I am interested to see who gets the job.
I agree. I think there's a lot of talent here. It's a mess of a roster. Like, there's a lot of holes to fill, but you have the number 1 overall pick and a lot of stuff that you can do there. I think with good coaching, Trey Tucker could be a very good wide receiver 1. You have Brock Bowers. You have Ashton Genty. You have Max Crosby. You have a lot of talent across this roster, like very notable names. It just needs to be kind of fixed up. Honestly, fix the O-line, like, stat, and I think this whole team starts to look a lot better. I think Brian Dable was whispered as
a potential, but it seems like he also might be going to the Titans as the OC.
Yeah.
Also, I have seen Clint Kubiak
Yeah, and I like both of those. I like getting an offensive-minded coach for this team because I think the offense is mostly where the problems are right now. So we'll see. I believe the Brian Dable rumor was that he will be the OC of the Titans pending if he doesn't get the head coaching job for the Raiders. So that to me implies that he's like in the late stages of the process and they're kind of evaluating options. I also like if we were going to get a college coach up to the up to the NFL level, like a Marcus Freeman, or
Which I think he's also said no.
he said no, but he keeps saying no, and I don't know that
Kurt
I believe him.
Signetti, I mean,
Yeah.
he's 60s and 60s. He probably won't do it. And plus, why would you? You just won the fucking natty. You're in Indiana. You're a goddamn hero. You're gonna get your statue.
Yeah.
You
I
you
don't
you
see
you
him
ride
going
this
at this
until
point.
retirement.
If he really wanted to go to the NFL, like he absolutely could, and he could come up here with Mendoza and have a nice little run. And maybe it happens. Tom Brady is a little magic man, and that lack of skin on his face really gets me rolling. So who fucking knows?
Another college coach who could probably do it. I don't want to suggest it because he won't go.
Ryan Day.
Absolutely.
I think Ryan Day could absolutely do it.
He-
He's probably got the most.
And he runs a pro
NFL
offense.
Yeah, he runs the most NFL-oriented team in college, I feel like. So I could very much see it.
I would say he probably would need to bring Matt Patricia with him as his DC, and I think that would make Crosby extremely happy. Also, Sean McDermott, I think if he builds the culture up and everything, he's also a really good choice. I think he'd fit very well in the AFC West with Andy, with Jim.
Mike Tomlin, I think, could also do a pretty good job, but I think he has to take a year off. He might be one of those. So we'll see. I think the Raiders. I think Tom Brady is going to make a crazy choice that we all talk about. I think that's really where it's going to end up, and then we'll see if it's genius or not.
Absolutely. So, you want to end this session with a game?
I do.
So, this is the thought. We are four starting. There are four starting quarterbacks in the AFC and the NFC Championship game. Only two remain, and they are kind of like superheroes. So, give me one DC, one Marvel superhero of Drake. That is Drake May, and of Samantha Darnold.
Darnold, DC, Shazam.
Oh, interesting. Why? So explain. I'm curious. We don't have to explain everyone, but I'm very curious as why we thought of Shazam.
When he's on, he's Superman. When he's off, he's a child.
He's Billy Batson.
And that's what it comes down to. I'm not ready to let go of the Pumpkin Darnold hate. I don't hate the man. I hope the best for him, but I'm not quite ready to give up on that just yet. I think when he wins the Super Bowl, I'll stop saying I have no faith. But yeah, I'd say probably Shazam because he turns it on, and my God, he's real good. But also, he looks like dog shit sometimes.
What about his Marvel counterpart?
For Marvel, I'm gonna go with Hawkeye.
Because sometimes he's really on and he hits bullseyes, but if he doesn't have all his arrows or his tools, he looks like complete dog shit and is kind of useless.
Nope, I'm actually giving him more respect with this one.
Oh,
Hawkeye is
Death.
best. He's the best of the best at what he does, but he doesn't really get much respect from anybody, myself included. I don't care about Hawkeye. So it's kind of a Darnold boat, to be like, yeah, I'm doing all this shit, but I'm just the guy with arrows. So I'll give him a little bit of a polite nod there.
I kind of like that. What about Drake May?
Drake May. Patriots is kind of.
Yeah, we could be
but,
cliche.
I'll give him Captain America, I guess.
Wah,
It
wah,
just feels easy. He got the jaw for it. Elite, leads the team. It doesn't matter who's around him. He's a leader. Blah, blah, blah. That one's not sexy and fun. DC. I'm not giving him Superman. That's Josh Allen.
Absolutely.
Give me one of your peoples. I'll think
So
about
starting with Sam Darnold, I think for DC, he's the Blue Beetle. And I'll tell you why, because he has a lot of tools. He relies on them pretty heavily. Without him, he is just a guy, but he also has a heart of gold. He is a hero. He does mean well. and he doesn't necessarily need it, but it's very helpful. For Marvel, this one's a little bit tougher for him, just because there isn't that direct correlation like that. But I will actually say he's Gambit from the X-Men.
Okay.
You know, he's a bit of a betting man. He has the cards in his hand, and occasionally he'll throw one and it hits and it goes, or he'll miss and it'll blow up the fucking wall. And you know, he's not Southern. You know, he's Californian, but he definitely has that Gambit Cajun, I should say, because I don't know so many Cajuns, soul to him.
We gotta turn the logo. I wouldn't want.
Oh, do I?
Rand to come after
Oh,
us.
did I turn on mine? My picture, we're good.
I've definitely had it in frame the whole time, so
That's
hopefully
okay.
Don't yell at it.
Sorry.
It's fine. Like 10 people will probably watch this one,
If we're lucky.
and if not, then they'll crack my bank account.
Just yours, not mine. I have no part of it. My stuff's hiding.
He's just as guilty as me. And his full name, government, and social security number would be. And then Drake's DC. I thought about it more. I came up with it. Green Lantern.
Okay.
Strength of will. Doesn't necessarily have like incredible stuff. You know, he's like making it happen, and I think that's kind of the like tantamount what is happening with Drake May. I don't think he's got like some elite roster around him. He has a bunch of like pretty solid players, and through strength of will and just like making it fucking happen, he's making it fucking happen.
I like it. I really do like it. For Drake May, for his Marvel counterpart, I'm going with the Winter Soldier. He is Bucky. Because when he is programmed by somebody else, he is a soldier. With his first.
Not where I thought you were going with that.
When he's, he's got that metal arm, heavy metal, if you will. He definitely needs a little more time. He needs a little more time with the Super Soldier Serum before he becomes Cap. He has the opportunity to become Cap, but he's your Bucky. He can.
He's a fucking communist.
He can stand on his own. He's not a communist, but he definitely had some reprogramming in his brain, and he needed it and to become the best version of himself. And then for his DC counterpart, again, this is a little bit tougher. You're not wrong.
Welcome to ASMR with the Cracker Cold Ones podcast. Today I'm going to be licking the mic and sticking it down my throat. Who's ready to go down?
For D, I said DC. That's the one I need to pick, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of thinking into my bag here. Showing up my comic knowledge. He's kind of Nightwing. He's not quite Batman yet. He has some tricks. He's young. But he can lead and carry a team if need be, which he can. He's shown that.
He's a dick, but he's also a Grayson.
He is also a Grayson.
And that's all we have for you tonight. I'm just kidding.
Or maybe if you want to he can be Batman Beyond. He can be Terry McGinnis.
I kind of fucks with that. Yeah.
Where he needs that mentorship.
The Batman of the future.
The
Batman of the future.
I'm changing. He's Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond, where he has the guy in the chair, and it's Mike Grable / Josh McDaniels, a little bit older, a little bit crustier, if you will, have no experience, a little more gruff, if you will.
This is why you come to us for that elite game knowledge. Because who else?
And I don't think my mic was on the entire time when I said about Terry McGinnis. That's okay. Maybe you picked me up.
It's fine. It probably didn't matter anyway.
So just a little bit of fun stuff here to end out the show, everybody. Anything you'd like to add before we boot, scoot, and boogie?
You want to, lightning round, give me some snubs? Oh, I know we haven't talked about awards in, an hour. You want to give me, like a couple of snubs, you feel like? I can go
snub
first.
For MVP, probably Brock Purdy, actually, just because he did carry that team a little bit.
He was out enough of the season, though. That one's a little tough.
Agreed. I just don't think they really missed anybody, to be honest with you. It seems like you have some snubs, so go for it.
Offensive Player of the Year, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think low-key, more so in this conversation than Bijan. As much as I do think Bijan is insane, I think Jahmyr had a crazy year. It's some of the best games of football ever, honestly. So I do think that's like a quiet snub. they didn't have a great year overall, and he had some quieter games, so I don't hate it. But I do think he probably deserved the nod, maybe just as much, if not a tiny bit more, than Bijan. I think he had like higher highs than Bijan did. That was kind of my big one, honestly.
He really had to get that off his chest.
I kind of did. Jameer, if you're listening, I love you. You're like so good at football.
You're very good at football. But
yeah, because I mean, some of the other like notables. I think Derrick Henry had too many fumbles and was quiet a little bit too much of the year. Jamar Chase.
Maybe James Cook, because he
Cook,
was a great Robin.
Yeah, I think James Cook, that's a bit of a snub. Literally the leader in rushing yards. It's not like the sexy enough pick, but I do think he probably deserved a nod. Again, maybe over Bijan. I'm not trying to like knock down Bijan. I think he's truly so fucking good, but I just don't know that he quite had an offensive player of the year, mostly because the team just kind of let him down. He's crazy. It's not your fault, Bijan, but when you got a penis tossed into you,
you know how like actors have the Razzies. The Razzie Awards were like the worst of everything. Yeah. Folks, I think in honor of the awards next week, we may or may not have the NFL Razzies, just for fun and opinion.
And then after that, we'll do the Dundies.
Fantastic.
But just with each other. I'll give them an award.
Ooh,
best co-host.
I'm so excited.
Best co-host that drinks beer with me.
Yes, I would love that. But you know what, folks? Thank you for tuning in. Our first recorded show. I'm Christian.
I'm Grayson.
Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Broke a window.
Down the field.
Down the field. That was nice. All staying in, by the way.
Enjoy these unedited versions of us